Hey folks, Rick here for another Facebook Live. Just me and Paul. With me always is Paul. I was going to do the Wayne's World thing, but I probably shouldn't. No. All right. So today we're going to be talking about a few things. First thing I like to say is, in my coaching the last few days, I'm hearing from people, well, the market's getting a little bit better. It's a little more work this year. So I always like to say, it really boils down to two words: discipline. You got to be doing what you're supposed to be doing on a daily basis and getting over the boredom of the fact that it's the same thing really a lot of days, right? Same thing, different people. And then resilience, which is while you're doing that and being disciplined, you're taking shots, right? But you got to stay the course and keep going, right? So I guess to me, like, what are your standards? Like, not just for real estate. What are your standards for life? What are your standards for your relationships? What are your standards for your business? What are your standards for your health, your diet, maybe? We should all look at our standards and make sure we're making those minimums at least every day. And sometimes I think we need to raise them. Really, it's a self-confidence thing. It's not a cockiness, it's a confidence. Are you worth the things that you want? If you are, then you will act in a way that's consistent with that. So what are your standards? If you don't have in some areas of your life, then I would make sure you get some. Okay? Because I think you can only treat other people as well as you treat yourself too. It comes across as well, which is my second point is in this business, if you want to do well, especially in a year where the market is changing slightly, you have to, I think repeat and referral business is critical. People go, well, how do you get repeat and referral business? Well, you ask for business. Well, that's the second most important part of it. The first most important part is that you treat people like gold. You do an incredible job for everybody you're working with. NAR has a stat that 78% of people, once they close on a property, never hear from their agent again. That's ridiculous. My suspicion is, by doing this in my 39th year now, is that the reason people don't ask for referrals is because they know they didn't do a great job. Hey, I didn't do a great job for you, but by the way, do you know anybody else looking to buy or sell? You can't even get yourself to make that call. Right? But if you do an incredible job, you over deliver, under promise, think of things. Like, I was just on a call with one of our great agents, in California. He said, if my client said to me, I'm going on vacation, would you swing by and take out the trash for me on Thursday? I would do that for almost every one of them that calls me. I go, that's a little over and above, but that's great. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, right? Do what your clients, expect from you, and then go a little above and beyond. All right? So that's the second thing. And the next thing would be like, what's the next important thing on your schedule? You got to have a schedule and you got to be following it. Maximize each day. Do the next right thing. Make sure you're on track. Make sure you're on schedule. All right. Having a time block schedule for a lot of people in real estate is one of the toughest things they can do. I coach some really naturally gifted, great salespeople. They know what to say. They know what to do. You put a time block schedule, and you get them to follow it, their production goes through the roof. Then you have some people that are really disciplined and know what to do, and then you get them to, learn how to speak to people with scripts, repeating, approving, and doing all that stuff. Boom. It really is, real estate is awesome because it's a lot of little things that you need to be good at. And the ones that you're weak at, you may need to work on, okay, to get good at. All right, so get referrals by asking, over delivering, under promising, I think is critical. Maximizing each day by following a time block schedule. Stay enthusiastic throughout the day. Okay, how do you do that? Well, you don't have to be enthusiastic every minute of the day, but when you're talking to clients and customers and so forth, people can feel your enthusiasm. They're making big decisions. They want to know that you're behind them. They want to know that you agree with them. Or if they need to be, if they're asking questions before they make a decision, you need to know what you're talking about. Remember, you're the professional in the room. You need to be the most knowledgeable person in the room about real estate if you want them to use you. It doesn't mean you have to be in the business for a million years, okay? But so if you're new, you need to do your homework. Like, how many active listings do you have on the market? How many sell per month? What's your absorption rate? These are types of things that you just need to know if you're going to be over doing listing presentations and selling buyers or sellers. Okay. So I would say that's critically important. Be enthusiastic. Now, how do you be enthusiastic? Well, Knowledge, I believe, gives you confidence and enthusiasm. Knowing what to say, knowing your presentation. If you're with us at Berkshire Hathaway, you have incredible tools. You should have a very confident listing presentation back down with company tools, right? The Virtual Agent Center has everything you need in there, or the Resource Center, or both. All right, so you need to talk it, and you have all the points you can go through. All right, so I didn't say it's easy, but it definitely is simple, and it's something that you can learn in no period of time. All right, and also market stats. You got to know all the market stats that go along with it. All right, real estate is a tremendous amount of common sense. Okay, so I would recommend that you definitely learn those basic stuff. All right, so stay enthusiastic. How do you do that? You got to have a plan. Like for me, it's working out, audiobooks, and eating right. All right, now people go, well, that sounds a little, well, they've done studies after studies after studies about this. Getting up early in the morning and working out is incredibly good for your mindset, your physicality, and everything. All right, I listened to this, I think she's a psychologist, right? I can't even think of her name right now, but she wrote this incredible book, and she said that working out every day, all right, to start your day is like taking a little bit of Ritalin and a little bit of, what's the other one? Oh God, I can't think of it right now. Prozac. A little bit of Ritalin, a little bit of Prozac every day for your brain. It releases those natural hormones into your system, okay, which makes you more focused, more positive. So working out every day, and then you keep that all day. That's a tremendous way to be enthusiastic. And then if you're doing that, honestly, being able to eat right is a lot easier. Because if you've already started the day off in the right direction, you're less apt to go, you know what, don't care, let's just blow it. No, you're less apt to do that. Drinking water. This is a full contact sport, as I always say. Real estate is a full contact sport. You got to be doing a whole bunch of stuff, and you got to be contacting a whole bunch of people in order to be successful. Okay, and then my last point for today is repel negativity. I think by just being a positive person, you repel negativity. People who are negative don't want to talk to you. All right, hey, that guy is out of his mind positive. Why would we want to talk to him or her? All right, that's the kind of person I think you want to be myself. That's just me. All right. You walk around and negativity just parts. It moves away from you because you're a walking, talking, positive person. I'm not talking about Pollyanna where you just believe stuff that isn't true, right? But I do know this. Whatever you tell yourself, right, your self-talk, okay, how you're acting out, how you're portraying yourself will definitely come true in your future. All right, so why not tell yourself the right stuff? Why would you ever be your worst enemy, which a lot of us are, by the way we talk to ourselves. Have that self-talk. Be positive, know your craft, come across with confidence, competence, be natural, be authentic. It takes work to do all of those. There is no naturally gifted person. Because if you're good in this, you need work in that, and you have to be, a complete positive real estate person, that means some parts you're going to have to work on, and other parts will come natural for you. Hopefully these points, have standards. Treat people like gold, okay, and treat yourself like gold too at the same time. Maximize your schedule, do the next right thing. Treat people like gold, you'll get referrals, but ask for them, Stay enthusiastic by what you do and what you say and what you're thinking. And then while doing that, you'll repel negativity, which, you can't repel all of it because you live in a world that's a little bit negative. Just watch the news. No, don't do that, by the way. Don't watch the news. And you'll see what I mean. All right, guys, hopefully that was helpful. We'll do this again next week. Thanks for your time, everybody.